I'm going to spin a wheel. I actually forget what the years are. Okay, it's 1950 to 2021. So we're going to spin this wheel of years, and then I have a second wheel that will spin. Oh, there we go. That's where I spin it. I was looking for like a spin button, but it was in the middle. So the year we get is 2015. All right, I was kind of hoping for like an older year, but we do what the wheel says, okay? There's going to be plenty of other... I'll take 2015 off because I'd like to make this a series. Anyway, point being, I won't take 2015 off, actually. Never mind, because the second wheel is just a wheel of the 4 major Philadelphia sports teams. So which 2015 team will we be learning about? The 2015 Philadelphia Flyers. This is good for an early year because I remember the 2015 Eagles. I remember the 2015 Phillies. I don't really remember the 2015 Sixers, but the Flyers are the team that I need to learn about the most. So basically what this is going to be is just we find a year, we find a team of the 4, and then we learn about them together. So let's go on this adventure together for, I don't want this to take too long, but let's say like roughly 10 minutes. Let's spend 10 minutes learning about the 2015 Philadelphia Flyers and see what they were all about. I think I'm going to start with the basketball reference, hockey reference, baseball reference, football reference, just because that's like a standard place for me to kind of understand the context of things. And then we'll get into storylines. So we'll start off with like data and results, and then we'll look into stories based on what we find. So they finished 5th in the Metropolitan Division. They had a record of 41, 27, 14. That seems pretty good. Again, the Flyers are hockey, and the Flyers, my weakest of the 4 main sports. So I don't know that much, but we're learning. We're here learning together. So yeah, okay, they were 7th out of 30 in, what is this, standard offense. Here we're learning here. SOS. Oh, strength of schedule. I should know that. So they were 6th in strength of schedule. Simple rating system is a rating that takes into account average goal differential and strength of schedule. Oh, so it's combining like, yeah, how much you won or lost games by and how difficult your games were. So they were like pretty basic. Oh, now I got to go back. They were pretty basic, it seems like, in that they were just a net negative 0.3, which is like basically 0 and right in the middle. And then they lost in the first round of the playoffs to the Washington Capitals. Okay, so let's kind of skip to the end of the story here. They lost to the Washington Capitals in the 2015 NHL playoffs. Does the NHL, is it just 2015? No, it's 2015, 2016. So I probably have to say 2016 NHL playoffs because the playoffs actually like happened in 2016. I think, let's see. First round, yep, Capitals over Flyers. You guys can see that, right? Yeah, Capitals over Flyers, 4-2. So this is that playoffs in 2015. So the Capitals then lost to the Penguins, and then the Penguins beat the Lightning 4-3, and then the Penguins won. Okay, so the Pittsburgh Penguins won the Stanley Cup this year. That's great. Glad we got 2015. This is fantastic. Off to a great start. Okay. So their average age was 28 years old, and that's the league average. So this is a pretty average-aged team. Then they did pretty well. It seems like a slightly above average team that wasn't amazing, really. Let's look at some stats here. Claude Giroux. Giroux? I think it's Giroux. This is gonna, any Flyers fans, I'm so sorry. I should know Claude Giroux. I think it's Giroux, but I'm sorry. That's really bad by me. I need to be better there. Pretty much all of their top guys have a negative plus minus. Oh no, there's a positive plus minus, and there's some positives, but then there's a lot more negatives than positives on the plus minuses here. Again, hockey stats, I don't really know a ton of what a lot of these mean, but it seems like they have, of their best players, a lot of them are like in their later 20s. And so it's like kind of it seems like a team that, from what I'm looking at here, is a team that's kind of like, this is the best they're gonna get. It's not like a young, exciting team. It's a team with a lot of guys that like should be in their prime, but they weren't like dominating. They lost in the first round of the playoffs, weren't crazy in the regular season. They had one hat trick. Let me see their goalies. Okay, he finished 11th in All-Star voting. Steve Mason, their second goalie. Both goalies are 27. Both had save percentages, pretty similar save percentages, both hovering around 92%. Again, I don't know if that's good. Someone tell me if that's... Oh, we're learning here. Average NHL goalie save percentage, like, is 92%. That doesn't seem like amazing. Let's find out what the average save percentage is. In 23-24, the average was 90. Okay, so maybe we need to narrow this down to what in 2015. Like, was the game of hockey that different? Okay, average was 91, so they were both like slightly above average goalies. Okay, so yeah, this whole team, the general consensus seems to be slightly above average. That's what I'm getting here. Top one for people also ask is, who got fired? Oh, that's John Tortorella. Okay, that's nothing to do with the 2015 Philadelphia Flyers. This is hockeydb.com. Oh, this is more stats. Okay, so now I got to kind of hunt for storylines, which I don't know exactly how to do that. Well, I searched rosters, so maybe that will get us away from the stats. There we go. Wikipedia. Why not go to Wikipedia? Who doesn't trust Wikipedia, you know? School really drilled it into my head not to trust Wikipedia, but now as the internet gets more and more crazy, you know, Wikipedia is seeming a lot more reliable to me now. Just because, you know, like a bunch of people are contributing to it. It was drilled into my head in elementary and middle school that Wikipedia was like the worst thing on earth. And because anybody can write anything on there. And I still don't fully trust it because of that, but anybody can write anything anywhere now, it seems like. So anyway, that's my spiel on Wikipedia. The 2015-2016 Philadelphia Flyers season, no one cares. It was the 49th season. They played against Tampa Bay Lightning. It was the first season under new head coach Dave Hakstol. Finished 5th in the Metropolitan Division and 7th in the Eastern Conference, qualifying as the second wildcard team where they would lose to the Washington Capitals. So Dave Hakstol, he looks like a hockey coach, I would say. He was probably a little bit on the younger side. This was 10 years ago, so he was 46. Seems like younger for a head coach. He attended the University of North Dakota and played hockey there. Love that. Let's see, what did he do before he was a head coach? Oh, okay, this is interesting. It was announced that Hakstol would become the Philadelphia Flyers' 19th head coach. He was the first head coach, or is the first head coach, to go directly from the NCAA to the NHL since 1982. So kind of a risky move. I was right. They were taking a young guy. He went from the NCAA to the Flyers, and that was not a common thing. Interesting. He picked up his first NHL victory in the Flyers' third game. They beat the Florida Panthers. Okay. And then April 2017. Oh, no, that's just him being on the national team. He was with the Flyers from May 2015 to December 2018. So 3.5 years. They relieved him after they got off to a slow start in 2018. Okay, so he had kind of a brief run with them. I mean, they didn't like go to the Stanley Cup finals or anything during his time, so expectations probably weren't crazy. Off season, this is going to give us a setup for the year. They failed to qualify for the playoffs the year prior, and so they fired coach Craig Berube, nicknamed Chief. Okay. And he had played in... Wow, he played for 17 seasons in the NHL. Good for Craig. Yeah, they hired Haxtell from the NCAA. Whoa, okay. So he was coaching the University of North Dakota. He played there, and then he coached for 11 seasons, in which he led them to the NCAA tournament every year, and they advanced to the Frozen Four 7 times. It seems like a lot in 11 years. So he was kind of crushing it with North Dakota. And then they signed someone to a 1-year, $3 million deal. That seems pretty minimal. It was a busy day on draft day. And they selected this guy with the 7th overall pick. And they traded these picks for Travis Konechny. Okay, he's been with the Flyers for a while, right? Career statistics. Yeah. He's been with the Flyers. Okay, he's been with the Flyers since they drafted him. So this was his first year with the team, Travis Konechny. I know that because I did a Flyers highlight in college, and he got in a fight, and so I talked about him when that happened. Okay, and this guy, it looks like he's still with... Oh, no, okay. But he was with the Flyers for a while, too. So it looks like they did a good job with this draft, I think. Again, let me know if I'm wrong on any of this stuff. It seems like they did a good job with this draft going into this year. And then they did a trade to create some cap space. They acquired Chris Pronger. I know he was in the NHL for a while. Man, they made a lot of trades. Okay, they were wheeling and dealing. And then they re-signed Ryan White. And then they also signed a free agent goaltender to a 2-year. So they're making a lot of like mid-range moves, it seems like. They drafted well, and then they're moving a lot of pieces for cap space. And yeah, none of these are like blockbuster deals, but it just seems like building block moves that are like good. And then the standings, yeah, Capitals were really good, 56 and 18. They had 120 points. They were plus 59, so they dominated. And then somehow the Penguins beat them in the second round of the playoffs. Good for the Penguins. Kind of snuck up on them. So it seems like the tiers were like regular season tiers. Capitals, tier 1. Tier 2 was the Penguins, Rangers, and Islanders. And then the Flyers were like the third tier of the playoff teams because, like, you look at the goal differential, all these teams were... Obviously, the Capitals dominated, Penguins dominated, and then Rangers and Islanders differential was good. Flyers had a winning record with a negative goal differential, so maybe there was a little bit of luck there. So that's interesting. They didn't score a lot of goals compared to these other teams. Their defense was good. They gave up around the same amount of goals, but they did not score at the same rate as these other teams. And then they were the worst playoff team. Basically, the best non-playoff team. They just snuck in over the Bruins. And yeah, okay, so even though this team made the playoffs, yeah, I think I was kind of right that expectations couldn't have been that high. They weren't like... It doesn't seem like they were that impressive. They were just like a good team that got into the playoffs, but weren't really going to go many places. Wow, that's a lot of references. Okay. So that's unfortunate. That gives us a paragraph about the off season, but like when we get to the regular season, there's not... It's just the stats. There's no like storyline details, which is too bad. I would love to read a little bit more about that. But that's Wikipedia. Great contributions. Clap it up for Wikipedia. Thank you, Wikipedia, for providing that information. Oh, every single goal of the 2015-2016 season. How about that? Hopefully this doesn't get this video demonetized. Maybe if I skip through these. This is... All right, so here's that. There's guys score. Oh, let's see Claude's first goal of the season. There you go, Claude. Way to tip it in. Honestly, it's so hard to watch the puck in hockey. Okay, I saw it the second time. I realized what happened the second time. But yeah, watching hockey is tough, man. It's hard to follow the puck. So let's see. Was there anything else? Here we go. NBC 10 Philadelphia. Shout out to you guys. I think I will close on this. We'll read about their season was one to remember. It's the most like generic headline you could ever write. Anything could happen and it would be a season to remember. Unless it's like really terrible, I guess then it would be like a season to forget. Okay, this first sentence feels kind of perfect. It feels like it fits the vibe that I'm getting from this team. Written by Andrew Culp. Shout out, Andrew. First sentence. It's not every day a losing team is shown appreciation in Philadelphia. So that's interesting right off the bat because that's true. It's not every day. It's hardly ever is a losing team shown appreciation in Philadelphia. So that's shocking. Great first sentence, Andrew. Got me hooked. Yet that was the scene at the Wells Fargo Center immediately after they were eliminated. Okay, so they got eliminated at home, which normally leaves a really bitter taste in your mouth. But the crowd gave a standing ovation and a hearty "Let's Go Flyers" chant for their valiant effort. Okay. The group exceeded expectations and overachieved. Okay, so gotcha. They weren't even, maybe they were just expected to be mid and they turned out pretty good. That was better than expected. They weren't expected to make the playoffs, maybe. They earned respect, not only from their fans, but the entire NHL. Okay. Up until the very end, facing a far superior opponent, down 3-0 in the series. Okay. So they went down 3-0 and then they won 2 and okay, so this was a grit and grind fighting team. No wonder Philadelphia liked them. That makes sense. Too often we are quick to disregard a team's season because they didn't mount a deep playoff run, much less conclude with the championship in a parade. That sounds like Philly. Well, the Flyers may have come in last, but it sure was a lot of fun watching them cross the finish line. Come in last. Oh, like of the playoff teams, I guess. Began with the unconventional hire of Dave Haxtell, which we went over. That was definitely an unconventional hire. Maybe best of all, Haxtell allowed Shane Gostisbehere. I don't know. That's an interesting name. To be himself, resulting in a historic rookie season beyond worthy of a Calder Trophy consideration. Wow. Okay. Electrifying 23-year-old showed an uncanny ability to rise to the moment and score the go-ahead goal. Who could forget his remarkable 15-game point streak, shattering the record for rookie defenseman? Okay, so this Shane Gostisbehere guy, what happened with him? Let's learn about him. What's his deal? I guess he's on the Carolina Hurricanes right now, so he's still in the league. Let's go hockey reference. We're going down a little rabbit hole here. Bear with me. Okay, he was with Philly okay, so he played 2 games with them prior. This is his first full season. He won Rookie of the Year. Oh, he was on the all-rookie team, it looks like. It pulled up the rosters. He was with Philly until 2021-22. And then he went to Arizona, and then he has bounced around since. But he was with Philly for basically most of his young years. Okay. But it doesn't seem like he was like crazy after that first season. So that might have been a little bit of an outlier unless I'm missing something. Like I don't see a crazy outstanding his points plus minus peaked in 17-18 and he scored 13 goals. He had 17. He never topped 17 goals that he had in his rookie season. So I don't know, maybe let me know. Did he peak as a rookie? Or like maybe he peaked in those first 3 years, but then like in his later 20s didn't actually hit as much of a prime as some other guys. That's interesting. So this guy, Shane, I really want to find out how to pronounce his last name. This guy had a historic rookie season. Then everything culminated with an improbable playoff push. So they started off slow with a young head coach. That probably makes sense. And then they went on a tear at the end. So they actually might have gone into the playoffs pretty hot. They were hands down one of the best teams in hockey down the home stretch. Momentum the organization hopes will carry into 2016-2017. We'll find out maybe another time how they did in 2016-2017. We know they didn't win a championship. But okay, so this year was kind of like a reset. And they didn't quite know what to expect. And they did well. So it was like a building block season. Another reason why it felt more meaningful than it actually was. They took the NHL by storm in what was widely considered a rebuilding year. Okay, yeah. They're a reset, a rebuild. And yet somehow they were still pretty good. Imagine if this was only the start of a longer, more sustained run of success for the Flyers. We've heard that story before with the Flyers and with other Sixers, Philadelphia teams. So, yeah, few people understood at the time that the team was rallying for owner Ed Snyder, who passed just before the playoffs began. Dang, that sucks. A lot happened in this season. Good job, Wheel. Wow. It was a team that Snyder and Flyers fans could be proud of, and while it did not achieve the ultimate goal of the Stanley Cup, it was a season that brought joy and gave hope for the future. The Flyers are headed in the right direction. It's a season that has the potential to be remembered fondly for a long time. Okay, so that's great. I'm glad. I thought this would have a little bit more of a negative tone to this team, that they're just kind of like a mid-team that didn't excite people, but it seems like this team excited people quite a bit. So I'm glad about that. Good for you, 2015, 2016 Philadelphia Flyers. Good for you, Ghost. That was his nickname. So we're just going to call him Ghost because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Good for Dave for coming in there and, making the best of what the season was supposed to be. Exceeded expectations. Yeah, it seems like a fun Flyers team. Maybe we'll watch some highlights from that sometime. But there we go. I don't have a name for this series. Wheels. Philadelphia sports history. Wheels randomizers. But yeah, learning about Philadelphia sports history with Wheels. So tune in next time. Maybe we'll spin the wheel again, get another year and another team, and we'll go down some rabbit holes together. Let me know if you guys enjoyed that. I thought it was fun.